Are you guys ready to see my updated summer and fall 2026 plans with all of my recent acquisitions that you have not seen yet? Hey guys, it's Katie here, aka Yarnaholic. Why may you say that? Well, these are just my acquisitions from the last 3 to 4 months that, believe it or not, they do have projects planned for them. So we are going to dive into those today. Hey guys, it's Katie here. If you're unfamiliar with me, I'm the Katie behind all of the patterns at Katie DeGroff Knits, host of the Katie Knits podcast, and creator of all the other videos you see here on my channel. Please take a moment, don't forget to subscribe, and give this video a thumbs up because you are watching it, and let everybody else know that you like it. Don't forget to drop me a comment, as always, letting me know what you're working on as we catch up. Today is a little bit different of an episode. I have been trying to be much more intentional with my yarn purchases ever since I did my Great Stash Down last year, and I've been doing a very good job of that. So there's been a number of purchases this year that you have not seen yet that I want to share with you and my plans for them. Now, granted, I am human. These plans are subject to change, and they may. Who knows? But for now, I purchased all these yarns with intention. I love these kind of pattern roundup plan videos. I get a ton of inspiration from them. You can knit any pattern in any yarn, but sometimes seeing somebody else's plans, you'll be like, oh, I never thought to use that with that. So hopefully maybe you'll get some inspiration from this too. And it's just fun to see all new fancy yarns. So I have my tea, I have my computer, I have all of my goodies that you have not seen yet, and we are going to get to it. So I'm going to show you the new acquisition and its plan and go over that. And at the end of this, I'm gonna do a little check-in on my 2026 Make 9 and Knitting Bingo plans. Spoiler alert, the Make 9's getting thrown out. I was way too... I grouped everything together too much. Like, I put an entire box of, like, finish all of my active whips from 2025 or finish all of something. And that hindsight was really dumb of me to do. So we're going to throw the Make 9 out. But the Knitting Bingo, we will leave. And I already have some ideas how to make it better next year. And Scout's honor, I have not looked at this since I made it in January until a few days ago when I planned this video, just to give myself a little refresher. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, first on the docket, I have 3 planned presents for Christmas, and I fully anticipate them getting spoiled at some point because they are for Sophia, Elizabeth, and John. This is the only one that is not a recent acquisition. This is a yarn from last year, because the yarn that I purchased for it just wasn't right. And this is going to go, caveat, this is going with another Christmas present. I am making Sophia and if I'm looking at over here, move my computer over here a little bit so that I can look at the camera more. But I am making Sophia the January socks by Caitlin Barthold. They are just the cutest little ruffle socks. I couldn't find the right ruffle, and I kept going back to these. They're going to be meant to have the ruffle poke out of a shoe. The yarn I chose was I really don't like it because I initially had the Dainty Bows sock pattern. I am going with the January socks, and I am going to use a Lily Pad Book Club sock set from Frogget Yarns. This one is from October of last year, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. And I just think, based on the colors she's liking and the pattern, I think this is going to be so much better than those Dainty Bow socks. Dainty Bow socks don't have a ruffle on top, but I was going to add that. I don't want to add anything. I just want to knit something. So I think that these colors are going to be perfect for that. Probably going to do the entire sock in the blue. Thinking about holding it double. And I want to use the gold for definitely the toe and probably the heel too. Maybe a little pop of color around the top or something like that. But this will be my first gift knit of the year, the January socks for Sophia. And the yarn is by Frogget Yarns. This is their merino sock. Christmas knitting plan number 2 is for John. Want to knit him a pair of socks. Wanted to try breaking yarn for so long. Michaela is so fun. And of course, I adore Breaking Bad, the TV show, and Better Call Saul and all the, other things that go along with it. And I've rewatched it like a million times. So I've always wanted to try her yarn. And I saw, and I can't for the life of me remember. I need to write these things down. I saw someone else knit up the Heisenberg colorway in socks, and I loved it. I loved the look of it. I'm going to be making the Season Socks by Summer Lee in Breaking Yarn in the colorway Heisenberg. This beautiful little green pop on the bottom. And this is my first time trying any of her yarn, and I love it. It's plump and feels like it's going to be durable without being too soft, where I think it's just going to pill and wear through, or too thin. So I think these are going to make a great pair of socks for John for Christmas. And yes, this is black, this is dark, but I wanted to pick some kind of a pattern. That's why I picked the Season socks. They have a waffly texture to them, which I think you will be able to see in the pooling very well. So that is Christmas gift planning number 2. Plan number 3. This was actually the first one that I made. I saw this pattern and I knew I had to make it for Elizabeth. I just had to find the right yarn for it. I'm talking about the Underwing Mitts by Erica Huser. And I am so sorry if I butchered that name. They are fabulous. I just saw these and I knew it just screamed Elizabeth. And I didn't want to necessarily duplicate stitch or use multiple colors in these. I wanted to find a color changing yarn that would go with the black. I picked up the Zauber Ball. This is the Stark 6 from Schopenwool. And this is their, technically, I think it's a sport weight gauge. I picked up color number 1289. It is so amazing. And if you look at these, the Underwing Mitts, they are moths and they have this beautiful like orange wing in them. So that's where I picked out this like orangey part, but then all the color work throughout I thought would be so fun in this gray and neutral. And of course I have to have a black background. Now initially I had picked up Harrisville Designs Highland in black. It may be too thick, maybe. If it's too thick, I do have some Yarnaceous Salta fingering that I could even hold double if I need to in Shadow Monster, part of Maggie's Stranger Things collection. So they're both black. This one would be lighter than this one to go with the Zauberball as my contrasting color for all of the color work. I'm just going to hold it throughout and it does what it does. So those will be for Christmas for Elizabeth. Now, my fourth LAN on the list. And these are in no particular order. They're literally in the order they are on my favorites bundle on Ravelry, which I will link below. This yarn, it was a pre-order from Oakwood Knits Advent from last year. As you know, I was psycho and I got 2 of them and like a whole swath of extra main skeins to make a couch blanket, which I haven't started yet, but I will. And this color when I opened it, it was one of the last colors and it just always stood out to me. I knew I needed a sweater quantity in it. So what am I speaking of? I am speaking of Spirit's Eve. This is a Surrey alpaca lace, and it is coming through much, much lighter on camera. Maybe having it in a shadow, that is closer to its actual color. So I got Sport and I got Surrey alpaca lace to hold together. And I wanted to try Sport with holding it with the Surrey alpaca. I figured could get me any DK pattern. I knew I wanted something with cables and a turtleneck. What I picked does not have a turtleneck, but I intend on putting one on, which is very easy to do. I'm talking about the Sandro Pullover. I am really sorry if I butcher this. I'm going to read it as best I can off my computer. This is the Sandro Pullover by Flaminia Laura Cini. I saw several podcasters making this recently, and it had caught my eye before. I really like the way the cables are spaced out. I think even in this dark color, it's going to show up so nicely. And I think this sweater is going to lend itself very well to having a turtleneck on it. I wanted some texture, so I decided to go with cables. And I think even though this color is super dark, I think the Surrey alpaca lace is going to help to lighten it ever so slightly. I don't want something that stands out. Be like, oh my gosh, here's a whole bunch of texture. So the intermittent cables, I think, are going to be perfect. Now, this is a repeat knit for me. I just finished my Nostie tee by Rebecca Clow, the one that I wore to Fiber Witch earlier this year. Soon as I started working that up, I knew I wanted a long sleeve. It was very, very limited in yardage for this first one. So the second one, I knew I wanted it to be a little more open. So I may actually go up a needle size, which is crazy for Katie to say. But I think I want something a little more open. I was really looking for a multi-textured yarn at Fiber Witch. Didn't exactly find it. I found yarns that were great for it, but not exactly the color. So I came home and I scoured and I scoured. I settled on a pretty neat combination. So I went into this thinking I wanted to try a new to me dyer, new to me base, new to me things. So I looked at Kelborn Woolens. Never used them before. They have a really interesting fingering base called Cricket. It is a tweedy-ish base, and I really love it. This is the colorway Rust. It's coming through a little bit lighter on camera than it actually is, but I absolutely loved this. I was like, I love that color. I wanted to throw a little bit of a orangey red in with it. So another new to me, yes, I know this is going to be crazy that I haven't used this yarn yet, but another new to me yarn is Knitting for Olive. Never used them before. So I picked up their merino in pomegranate. Now this is coming through, gosh, everything is coming through the wrong way today. Mr. Sunshine is just not helping me today. But this is coming through more red, and it's actually more orange, a little bit darker of an orange. So my theory is holding these two together. It is going to marl and pop in all different areas. I think this is going to be so fun, and especially the texture of the Nostie with the vertical columns and the eyelets. I think it's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to make this. And it's going to be long sleeve. And I do want it to be a little drapier. So I'm probably going to go up a needle size for this. I'm so super excited for it. Now, another one that's probably going to get blown out on the camera. Kim from Newberg & Co. put up a flashback collection. I not only loved all of the names of all of this beautiful yarn, but I loved the colors. And the first one that struck me, I saw this post and I love the color. I do have a similar, I don't even want to call it similar red, but it's in the similar tone, more red from her already. But I saw up here at the very top is this color in British wool. I loved it. British wool will typically always make the colorway a little darker. I fell in love with it. So this, had to get a sweater quantity of it, is Heat of the Moment. And yeah, it's going to be playing in everybody's head now. Sorry, not sorry. But this is Heat of the Moment in British wool, which is a DK light worsted. And it's coming through much lighter than it is in person. That's the theme for today. But I got a sweater quantity of this, and oh my gosh, I love this color so much. I wanted this to be a cardigan, something that I could throw on with any kind of t-shirt, any color, just throw on and go. It's a color. It's not like a shocking, oh my gosh, it's like orange or it's red, or you can see me from like a mile away. I didn't want something like that, but I wanted a color. And I wanted the yarn to have some kind of texture. I'm going to be making a Seasons cardigan. This is by Ozetta. I just made Sophia a striped one out of fingering held double with all of those neon tweedy beautiful colors. And I have always wanted one for myself. Now I already have the buttons for it. I purchased the buttons at Fiber Witch this year from Sarah of Golden Earth Designs. I think that these are just going to be so amazing. These buttons, they're not, I don't want to say that they're like a golden yellow. And I think it's just going to be perfect. Absolutely love those. Cannot wait. So these will become the Seasons cardigan by Ozetta for me. Now I'm going to get to a dip plan. If you're unfamiliar with a dip, it is a design in progress. I'm also a knitwear designer. I have wanted to take my Sandy Cove shawl and turn it into one of those shawl-shaped scarves forever. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of podcasters making little accessories in edgier, poppier colors. I really liked it. I picked up from Red Door Fibers these beautiful colors. So this is Onyx in her Chalet DK. All of these are the Chalet DK, which are 70% merino and 30% silk. She does silk in almost all of her bases and does it so well, like so much better than any other silk content that I have felt. So I wanted something with just a little bit of drape. So I got the Onyx. This is going to be the background color. Then I wanted a pop. So I got this one, which is Nuclear Fusion. It's all of these beautiful pinks and reds and oranges. So fun. And for once, the color's coming through accurate. Imagine that. But these are going to be a dip plan for a Sandy Cove shawl-shaped scarf. So I'm really excited. This is so soft. Oh my gosh. I'm really excited to get this on my needles. Probably won't be for a month or two, but I kind of want to have it out for fall, so I have to get started. So fun. Can't wait to see how this color knits up for the little accents against the black. I think it's going to be really, really, really fun, especially with like a white t-shirt. It's just a pop. When I ordered the Heat of the Moment from Newburgh Yarn Co., Kim had also put up another colorway in that collection with Xanadu, and I absolutely loved it. This is, again, coming through a little bit lighter than what it is in person, but I don't want to call it mint. I don't want to call it sage. it's just awesome. It's a really cool colorway. And I picked it up on Corriedale Sport. I originally was thinking of using these two guys together. And I had her snag two and post a picture together, and I wasn't loving it. So they had to be separate projects. So I was poking around in the other colors in that pre-order, and then I poked around her ready to ship colorways, and I found Catskill Creek and Parlor. And these are both on Corriedale Sport as well. What can I make with all these beauties? So I do have a planned project, and then I also have a backup project with these. So my planned project with these beauties is the Heritage Harbor Sweater by Samantha Guerin. I love the textures in this. I love the shoulders. I really like it. I think it's really cool. I think, obviously with the Xanadu is my main color. And then this only calls for one accent colorway, but I'm thinking of putting the main accent stripe is going to be in the Parlor, and then a thin stripe on either side of this accent will be the Catskill Creek. So main color and then accents. I really think that's going to be so fun. So fun. And if all else fails with that one, my backup plan is the Norma Blouse, which just came out from My Favorite Things Knitwear. I watched her tease this on Instagram, and I've always loved the actual Norma more than the new Norma, but I don't know. I really like the shoulder detail, and it's in a lighter gauge, which this is sport. This is a lighter gauge. So this is either going to be the Heritage Harbor or the Norma Blouse. Next up is the actual Norma by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Now, this is combining two new things with something old. I don't know what year Hugh Loco came out with the Rain or Shine Your Mind collection, but I absolutely adored their color called Wonder. I can't even describe it. I've never seen anything exactly like it. And it's tonal. It's actually tonal. This is DK. This is fingering. Show you why I have those two weights here in a moment. But I was so sad to learn that Red Stag Fiber went out of business. So before they went out of business, I had to snag a sweater quantity from them. And I picked up a sweater quantity in their Yorkshire worsted in the colorway Natural. Absolutely love this base. And by the time I snagged it, this was one of the only sweater quantities left. Snagged this. I knew I wanted my main color of a Norma to be gray. Obviously not solid gray. I wanted a texture. Perfect texture. Well, this is a little chunkier. So that's why I have the DK and the fingering. I'm going to hold these guys together to make a worsted. Then I needed an accent color. I wanted a navy. So I picked up a skein of Highland from Harrisville Designs in Midnight Blue to be the accent with the Wonder with the Red Stag Fiber as my background color. How fabulous are these going to be in a Norma? I think they're going to be great. I absolutely love it. I do like the raglan construction and the way the pattern sits with a raglan more on the Norma than the new Norma. I think because I have a shorter upper body, I think that the new Norma would sag down not sag down, or place the color work too far down and make it look kind of awkward. So I'm going to go with the regular Norma in these colors. So I'm pairing new with something old. Just one more to share with you. This is the only one that you have seen on a podcast because it's part of my Fiber Witch haul from this year. I plan on making the Frost Lines cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I have plans to make several of these, but this one is more solid than the other. I picked up all from Dragon Horde Yarn. This is on her Fairy Tale DK. This is called The Raven. It is darker in person. Of course, the theme of today is everything showing up lighter. This is going to be my main color. This is The Raven in Fairy Tale DK from Dragon Horde Yarn. I saw these mini kits and I'm like, they were for, Tristan has a little mermaid stuffy that you can make and she sells kits for it. And I saw these and I'm like, I don't want to make the mermaid stuffy. I want to use these as accent colors for a Frost Lines. So I picked up this kit. It is so retro. It is so fun. I am all about the retro colors, and this just fit the bill perfectly to go along with this beautiful navy blue as a main color. So, oh my goodness. These are her Myth sock base, so I'm going to have to hold these double, which should be perfect yardage because you don't need much for each stripe to go along with the DK. And I have buttons from Sarah from Golden Earth that I purchased back in February, the Boston Farm and Fiber Festival, which will go perfectly with this project. Those are all of my new plans. Now let's do a teeny tiny little recap of my 2026 plans that I made back in January and see how I'm doing on them. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm throwing my bingo card right in the trash. I think that I was hesitant to make this to begin with because I don't love, putting plans on myself. I feel like it's too much pressure and if I don't complete it, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel bad. So this out the window. Not sure I'll make a Make 9 next year, but I grouped too many things together. Like on here, it says hats. Well, what does that mean? Did I make one hat? I mean, there's an S on it, so I had to have made 2 hats. Finish all whips from 2025. That's not going to happen. I don't like how I group things together. So that is going out the window. I have my bingo card pulled up. That was much more manageable. So let's check off what I did. So we're going to take a look at the bingo card. I have circled everything that is actually in progress. Everything that, is still hasn't been touched is going to be left blank. And then everything I've done, I'm going to put an X through it. So my pillow pop cowl, still a whip, not finished yet. Quilted project bags, I've made the quilted panels for them. Just need to put them together. Now to the second column, John Zipper Sweater Light from Rhinebeck is on my needles. And probably, I would say, maybe even at this point, a quarter finished. So that's a whip. More hats. Those are in progress. Those are whips. The Frogget shawl, which is a dip, those are completed. All 3 of them. Started out where it was just going to be 1. Yeah, that pivoted, turned, it's done. I made 3. Let's go to the middle column. The only one I can check off on this column is another sweater for me, my Nostie tee. That's done. Now on to the 4th column, my Holiday Finch sweater, which was a whip. That's finished. I wore that in Boston in February to the New England Farm and Fiber Festival, so that is done. My quilted stockings are almost done. Oh my goodness, they are so close to being done. But the only thing they need is the initial or name on the top of each. So those are getting a circle. Now, Sophia's striped cardigan, which was a whip, finished, all done. Now, last column, releasing my Fresh Fern cardigan. getting back to that now. It's almost ready to go back to tech and then get released as a test. So that gets a circle because it's in progress. My Harlow hat, which was a whip, that's done, finished. And then on the bottom, we have my Slouchy on Purpose socks, dip. Those are completed, both samples of them. So they get a check mark. So I'm doing pretty good. Not necessarily aiming for any bingos this year. Just aiming to use this as a loose set of plans for myself. And you and your little bell. Oh my gosh, my skinny mini. Gotta bring my skinny mini up here. Everybody say hi to Joey and his bow tie. Say hi, Joey. But I'm going to use it as a loose set of plans for the rest of the year. I do some of the things that I didn't check off at all. My Ovis sweater, I have been procrastinating even casting it on. I kind of want to work something that is maybe a little easier of color work first. I don't want to screw that one up. And it is something I want to have to wear to fiber festivals when I go in person somewhere. It's not necessarily something I could ever see myself wearing on a day-to-day basis, but to a fiber festival, come on, a sheep sweater, that's perfect. Sophia's Rhinebeck pillow, I've wound the yarn, but I've not cast it on yet. My quilt blanket dip with my Oakwood Knit Advents, haven't started it yet. They're still in boxes behind me. My mystery gnome whip, that is if you watched any of my stash reorganization videos, you will have seen I found a part of a gnome and I had no idea where I even was, but I was able to rip back to an actual place. So I do want to complete him. I think he'd be really fun. Let me see here. Sock set dips. I have really cool plans and I have a really cool idea that I'm pivoting to on one of them that I really want to cast on soon. I think it's gonna be really fun. My holiday ooey gooeys, they're back there in a bag. Yeah, haven't touched them. My other finch, striped finch with my Granite State yarns. Yarn's still here. Haven't touched it yet. I do want to get going on that because I think that was a really fun sweater to knit and it was really nice. So I think that is one that I could cast on, work up a little bit of it, put it aside, and very easily come back to it. And next year's Mystery Knit Along, I haven't started yet. I have to pick out colors and yarn for that. The Nana Gnome, which is the companion to Non-Dad from last year. I still have to make that. The drop shoulder cabled sweater, which was supposed to be with sassy string yarn. That, I'm making a second fresh fern out of that. And the other cabled sweater that I think is going to go in that place would be my Sandro Pullover with my Oakwood knit from my plans that you saw earlier in this episode. I think that would replace that in that little box. So I'm going to use these as loose plans for the rest of the year. Bingo card went out the window. And next year, I saw this year how people were rewarding themselves when they make a bingo. I think that may be fun. I think I may get into the bingo card more than the Make 9. I think the Make 9 it's too specific and too much. I think I'll get into this definitely a little bit more next year. But I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of my recent acquisitions and all of their plans. Maybe it brought you some inspiration. Maybe you've never seen some of these patterns before, or I gave you a different idea to combine yarns together. So hopefully you can pull some inspiration from it. Until next time, happy knitting, everybody.